welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share a new applique tutorial with you. I love to do applique and I often try to incorporate applique into my quilting projects. To share this method with you, I have made this cute heart mug rug with a heart applique in the center. I'm going to share some tips and tricks with you on how to use your free motion quilting foot to stitch on your raw edge applique. Let's get started. To start, you want to make sure your applique piece is properly fused to your project. I use a lightweight fusible web and iron my piece on. Once it is secure, you're going to use your free motion quilting foot, which I'm going to just take this off so I can show you what it looks like. This is my free motion quilting foot and it has an open toe. And the reason I like this is because I can see where I'm going a lot easier than if it was a closed toe. So you're going to attach that to your machine. I like to leave my feed dogs up and I adjust my tension for my machine, which right now I have it at a 7. This is going to be different depending on what kind of machine you have. So the best thing to do is to test your tension on some scrap fabric before you actually stitch on your project. Another tip that I have is using your needle down option on your sewing machine. Some sewing machines do not have that, which is totally fine. You can do it without, but if you have it on there, I would strongly suggest using that option. The reason it is so important to test your tension is because if I were to start stitching on my project and the tension was wrong, sometimes with it being applique, it'll leave holes in your project that you cannot get rid of. So I strongly encourage you to practice before you start. With your free motion quilting foot, you have control of where you're sewing instead of just pushing it in one direction. You can go all directions. So you have complete control of your stitches and where you want to go. So for this, I have it, as you can see, about 1/4 inch, maybe less than that, away from the edge of my applique shape. And I'm going to get started. So I have my needle down and I have my threads behind, and I'm gonna go slow. And depending on how fast you go is how far apart your stitches are, like the length of your stitches. So I'm gonna do a stop, and you can see it's pretty nice stitches, so I'm gonna speed it up. And I'm going around the heart in this direction because for some reason for me it's easier to do this curve coming from this direction. So and when you get to a point, it's always a good idea to kind of stop so you can actually get that point and kind of move your project so you can continue to the next curve. So I got to another point and I'm actually going to move it again. And you see I have this thread. You don't really need to worry about it. You can trim your threads after. Just make sure it's out of the way. And I'm going to meet back up at this point, but I'm going to go around 2 more times. And the reason I like to do this is because I kind of like the way it looks when it's not completely perfect, and I call it sketchy stitching. I don't know if that's the proper term, but that's just kind of what I call it. So I'm going to continue to go around 2 more times. And I just want to point out, I didn't go exactly on the previous line. I did that for a reason because, like I said, it's not supposed to look perfect. You're kind of supposed to see those stitches. So I'm going to continue. Turn again. Move that thread. Okay, I'm gonna be coming back to where I started, and when I get back to that point, I actually go back and forth, maybe like 2 or 3 stitches, just to make sure my stitching will not come undone. Just like that. Now you can take it out and cut your threads. Okay, so as you can see, I went around 3 times, and you can really see those stitches because I used a contrasting thread, which I used the white. If you wanted to make it blend in more, then I probably would have used red. And also I used red on the back, so you can really see how cute that heart shape pops out. And also you can see how my tension is really good. You can see the individual stitches, there's no loops, no eyelashes, so that's really good. The other tip that I have is that sometimes your needle will get gummed up by the fusible web, and if that's the case, just use some rubbing alcohol and a cotton ball and clean off your needle. And then lastly, the best thing for this technique is to practice. The more you practice, the better you're going to get, especially if you're doing harder shapes that have small points and nooks and crannies that you need to get into. So I recommend just practicing until you get the hang of it. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time with a new tutorial.